Welcome back to the Raw and Real Conversations, and I have a fresh set of fashion designers, stylists. It is a room filled with beautiful people, and we are about to introduce you to the panel. First up, we have Carlo.
Now, because of COVID, we're still in it, and it has really affected most businesses, I'm sure, and it's been very difficult for most businesses. Some of them have closed down. Some of them, like us, are still hanging in there. And obviously, we have evolved. Like, our design aesthetics was more high-end fashion. And with COVID, people wanted to, they're working from home. And they needed more functionality. So I introduced loungewear. And loungewear that people will still feel beautiful at home and also, loving themselves. Because it's all about how you feel when you wear a garment.
Education is extremely important. I know that that Google is our friend, but there's more than Google. There's that actual concrete education within fashion, the technical side to it. It's all the different subjects that dovetail together and work together to give you that holistic understanding of what happens when I leave here, what happens when I graduate. Therefore, subjects such as business, how do I write properly? How do I present myself properly? How do I style something properly? How do I present something in a retail space? How do I create something? What is my target market looking for? Understanding all of these things all together as the modules are set out is incredibly important, because those are the things that makes you become sustainable, like you were asking earlier. It's when you are able to wear these many hats because you have the knowledge of it. And knowledge is power.
There could be many ways to get educated, not just formal ways. Like, I think specifically in this country, we need to start encouraging more practical ways of people getting educated, where, being an apprentice to someone, like in our industry, it would be a perfect thing, because you can learn quite a lot. Of course, there is place for higher education, but to grow our industry, I think we have to actually apply ourselves to different ways as well as the conventional ways of educating people.
Mentorship programs, etc. Adding to that, I think also what COVID taught us is that the need to adapt quickly. So, like what you said, you're a student, you're continuously, you're continuously learning and adapting, and yes, you make mistakes along the way.
Most upcoming designers, they like to be somebody else. They don't like to push the button. There's always copies. You find a client with somebody else's work, and they want it exactly as is. That's stealing. Copyright is very, very important. I mean, we even see it now with the Chinese. I mean, we can't do much because whatever that we are doing, somebody else is waiting for you to post and steal it.
Yes.
And then again, it's not only about the formal education. Practicality is way beyond, having to have an ABC or certificate on the wall. Most designers haven't tried to be creative enough to expand their wisdom, and get into that. When coming to styling, you gotta push.
But I think especially from the get-go, to be so aware of what is my original idea and what is not,
and be intentional,
and being intentional about how do I make it my own.
Any designer that's copying and creating, I wouldn't even put that word designer, they don't even deserve that title, but also it's a very short-term goal in their career, because when you're building a brand, it's a slow process. All of us that have brands, it didn't just evolve overnight. And it's a process, and you're building a story.